Hi there, I'm Jason Newsted.
I'm Mike Mushok.
And you are watching
Fret12.com.
Never quite ready. It just becomes your turn. Ever tight steady. No more light to burn. A lie has no feet. Cannot stand alone. I'll cry.
last fall I put a demo together. I got a hand-me-down iPad from my now wifey and figured out a GarageBand application on there and started recording some stuff. I do believe that's probably the thing that happened. I had that implement to record some ideas on in an immediate way. I think the immediacy of the music is what's appealing to people. I was able to get it with that machine. I recorded onto Tascam cassette player up until then, pretty much, for my ideas and demos. So that part of things let my mind go and be able to program drums, put in guitar parts, bass parts, and all that to create the seeds of the demo that became the Metal EP. It was created by 3 people, myself, Jesus Mendez Jr. on drums, Jessie Farnsworth. About 1.5 months after that was released, the middle of February, Mike Mushok came and auditioned for our band and joined the day he auditioned, actually. He doesn't know that, but now he does. So we are nearly 5 months in, and we have some shows under our belt and world tour and EP and LP on its way in about a month here. It's all happened quite fast. It was not a plan like that. It wasn't a contrived plan thing to have a band with my name on it or anything like that. It just kind of transpired. Soldier Head got recorded. Some people got excited about it, played it on the radio. Next thing you know, here we are. So we're kind of playing catch up on a bunch of things that got planned for us to follow through on, as opposed to a regular orthodox album cycle type of thing. So our band that you see now is the quartet. Since Mike's been in, is a very new, fresh thing, but that's about what happened.
For God's sake!
I just prepared, you know what I mean? I had, I don't know, I think it was like 9 songs you'd sent me. And I just spent my time and, learned all the parts and came up and, did the best I could. So, for me, there was no, because I had people like, you're auditioning? Like, yeah, dude. I mean, there's way better guitar players than me. I mean, so it's like, but I was thankful for the opportunity, and I just wanted to go in and, do the best I could, and with whatever I do, So that's what I did, and it worked out that, they asked me to play in the band.
He came in very, very prepared. It was actually almost flabbergasting to me in the way that the 9 songs, well, it's not just oompa oompa music, I mean, there's something to it. And the guitar parts and the tunings and the weirdness, and he's playing an extra string and all that crazy crap. So he came in, I had written the songs 3 months prior to that, and I was still using notes. He didn't use any notes for any of those 9 songs, any cheat sheets at all. It was just all here on his first day. And so that was pretty impressive to all of us. And I think that could have put together a supergroup. He could have put together a supergroup too. I could have put together one separately. I could have went and handpicked a bunch of dudes from bands and all that kind of thing, but that's not really what I wanted to do. And I wanted to find people that were cool first. There's a lot of people that could play, but not everybody's cool. So fortunately, Mike was cool first.
I'm neither.
Fortunately, Mike was cool first, and then I realized how powerful a player that he was, And so I really didn't know that he was as good as he is, and it's kind of cool surprise. When I was making the demos, there's no way I could have imagined the color and dimension and stuff that somebody would have brought to the music, and what it is now, like the heavy metal music LP that is coming out. The color that he put in, he started writing the songs or adding his bits to the already written skeletons 3 days after you auditioned or something. We were recording maybe 6 or 9 days after your audition. We started working on the album. We made the record in 3 weeks.
For God's sake!
A couple of them were. Nocturnus, Skyscraper, and something else had been from a long time ago sessions. Actually, Nocturnus was from an old Chop House session. But most of the other stuff was new. And certainly all new to these guys. It wasn't new to me. All those riffs were kind of brought back up and brought to life again. But they were all new to these guys. So.
How did you guys first meet? What made that
That
first?
That was it. That day was the first time we met.
mutual manager.
Yeah.
No
Yep.
kidding.
Same management company, and my manager. I've been working on a bunch of different things, and he knew I was looking for something. You know, 'cause Aaron's out doing his country thing, and I got an email. You know, Jason's looking for another guitar player. You know, and I had heard Soldier Head, and I thought it was great. So I was like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
For God's sake!
We were still mixing the record, and we went and did some local shows in California. We did 14, I think, warm-up shows in the United States. It was half a dozen or 7 or something like that in the West, and half a dozen in the East and Midwest through May, before we started up the European festival stuff at the end of May and went through June. So the first experience live was at a local place right down from the Chop House in the same neighborhood called the Red House.
Tiny
Little bitty
place.
fucking place.
Yeah.
Did a couple nights there, and it was good. That all of those shows had to happen. I mean, we knew that we had to bust the rust off, get the band together, and do it in front of people, and kind of make mistakes in front of smaller crowds and get it all, because it was moving so fast. But I'm so glad that we did all those when we did them, because by the time we got to Donington, I mean, the first show we did was Sonosphere in Madrid with Iron Maiden, after we'd just done 200-seat clubs through the United States in little shitholes to warm up, and then just freaking Maiden on Sonosphere after a little flight, and then it was it. So it was pretty quick up the ladder in that way. But we've seen every scenario. Well, we've seen quite a few scenarios of what the show could be. 200-seater, 400-seater, 6. We did 1,200-seater in Belgium with
Mastodon.
That was Mastodon.
Yep.
And then Slayer in Milan, 1,100 seats, and then 5,000, 6,000, 12,000, 20,000 at festivals and whatever. So we've had quite a few different scenarios, considering we only have maybe 35 shows under our belt so far.
For God's sake!
I mean, it definitely feels. I mean, to me, it does. I mean, I think it is a new band.
It's familiar and
You know?
unfamiliar.
Yeah.
It's not all the way from the bottom. That's
Yeah, no.
that's the difference in the statement right there.
Right.
Is that it's like I've been saying anyway, that I don't feel I have anything to prove to anyone. I just have to reaffirm with people what they already know. And then the new fans that haven't had a chance to see me play live yet, they'll get what they get, because they're expecting something and they're going to get what they expect. So that's kind of that. Mike has his own reputation that people are going to see what that is and more, because he's never really got to unleash like this in the band. He's, well, earlier Stained maybe, but not of recent for people to see. And certainly not the, you know, this is the first time he's got to play for people doing that stuff. So that's new in that way for sure. And new roles that are assumed: frontman, bass player trying to sing and play bass at the same time, name on the band, face on the band, lyrics, and blah, 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 blah. All that's all new in that way. But the groundwork that we've done in the last 30 years, you know, working on everything, that gives us a pretty good foundation to be launching from. And the people, the longtime fans are very much in it and are willing to give us the benefit of the doubt. And they're just happy to be there and happy that we're there, happy to see us again. That kind of thing is very inspiring. You know, it makes you feel good, like you're doing the right thing. So a lot of positive energy so far. We've been fortunate to get a lot of positive reviews and positive energy coming back.
For God's sake!
Frustrations. I mean, listen, I think everybody kind of just realizes what it is, and we go out there, we do the best we can, and you just deal with, you know, the things that come up. I mean, listen, you were in an organization where I'm sure everything was taken care of, that you probably didn't. You just showed up and it was, you know, we never reached that level. I mean, we did well, but I mean, you know, Metallica's the biggest band in the world, basically, you know. So, but I think everybody's done well as far as dealing with what we've had to deal with, and you just, you know, you roll with it.
For considering if it was any other new band, as you put it, that was in our place, moving up the ladder as fast as we are, like that, you know, I'm not sure that anybody starting out would be able to deal with kind of the stuff that we've been dealing with, between the like mishandling stories that everybody has, but then the actual demand on the time and how popular and everything that it is for a new band. You know, the mixture of those and the contrast of those things, kind of crazy, considering what he's been conditioned to in his life as his band became successful. certainly what I was conditioned to, and that's all I fucking know, is everything being just dialed, right? And so now I have to bob and weave and sacrifice a little and kind of take it, bite my tongue every now and again and humble down a little bit in this situation for sure. I haven't been out in the middle of it like this for 10 years. So it was with Ozzy 2003 in the summer to tour. So it was 10 years ago that I wasn't doing any of this for real. A lot has changed in that time, and a lot has not changed in that time as well.
For God's sake!
I push hard as leader, or whatever you want to call it. Try to set by example and push really hard as far as rehearsal goes. A lot of time in rehearsal. Considering the time that we had at our disposal to put together an album and put together a show, live-wise, at the same time we had to do it simultaneously. So that was a big challenge in itself. So that's...
my story is that February 23rd, I was asked to play in the band. 8 weeks later, we were playing our first show, had an hour-and-a-half set down, had a record recorded and mixed, and had 70 dates booked around the world. So that's how it went. You know what I mean? So that comes from a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? And a lot of hours in.
But a lot of hours playing instruments with each other loud as fuck. Pretty much, because everybody stayed at the house, and we all lived in the chop house and just did our thing day after day after day, hour after hour after hour. And just, I'll be proud to say it, that all these youngsters, they had to go to bed for the man, still the last one standing, but I do once again have to set by example.
Who was up at 6 working again, though?
Homeboy, always.
Right.
You know what? It's fucked up. Last night, it's midnight or whatever. I decided to finally go lay down, maybe a little later. And my mic's on the bus. He got a new guitar, right? Because they get him, build him another 7-string. It's fresh. It's got a die-by date or whatever it's called, fresh by date on the fucking box or the guitar, right? It's April 29th it was born. So he said, right? I get up this morning at like 7:15 to see if there was some tea. There's Mike in the same spot. Like, dude, fuck, man, take it easy, okay? You made it in the band, bro. No, but really, I like that, man. I like that. There's a couple cats like that. Devin Townsend, and Mike, right, and Andreas. They never stop fucking playing. They don't. I swear. Just the whole time if they're not sleeping, they're playing. It's fucking pretty crazy. But there's results too. So there you go.
For God's sake!
10 years ago, I pretty much could just go, and that was it. It was Cookie Monster only with a little bit of color, maybe.
Cookie Monster.
When I started working with Echo Brain, Dylan Donkin, as a real singer, and he, single accompanying with guitar and nice Jeff Buckley songs and things like that, I tried to start singing. And I tried to learn a Neil Young song and sit down with acoustic and try to sing a little bit, get away from the Cookie Monster as time went on. Playing guitar in Papa Wheelie, where it's just slabs of metal and I can hit a chord and then take all the time in the world and sing and all that kind of thing. And from that chord, there's more melody chance as trying to play the bass line and find some melody that has nothing to do with the bass line. That's hard. So between that thing with Dylan, going the electric guitar and hitting the chords and being able to start singing some more over guitar, I folded that into the bass thing once we got with these songs. And the way the compositions work, it's very call and response. Like riff, sing, riff, sing, riff, sing. Not riff and sing, riff and sing. I can't do that. So it's a very much call, and you listen to all the compositions, that's the way they work. So I just kind of molded that over eventually. Just keep the singing voice and get the bass line going. So it took a while, and every day it's a challenge still.
For God's sake!
It's always riffs first, but the lyrics exist in poetry books. I have, like volumes of these binders that when we do our jams, let's have a couple, 2 or 3 of them sitting on my music stand, and I'll random pick a page, and we'll hit some shit, and I'll scream it out, and if it works, something, keep that. We record everything. So that one worked, that one obviously didn't work, and just kind of go through it like that. And then the ideas for the lyrics, it has to be subject matter that makes sense. I don't like any wasted words, no fodder or anything. Learned that from Snake, from Voivod. Like English is his second language, so he doesn't waste any words with any kind of thing, and kind of weave the words in between everything. Have the voice be the volume of another instrument, not necessarily a voice up over the band type of thing. Just have it within the band like that. So that's my objective now, is try to get subject matter that makes sense and is still getting across some type of positive vibe, stand up for yourself kind of vibe. That's what the thread that goes through these songs anyway.
For God's sake!
Oh, being
I mean,
live.
I know for me, I just picking up a guitar and playing, like, you know, it's cool, like doing those festivals, playing shows and watching, you know, Slayer play or Iron Maiden play, or these guys that are just, you know, iconic in what they do, and watching the crowd, even Hatebreed. We watched that Hatebreed show. My God, those guys destroyed it. You know, I mean, that kind of stuff inspires me. You know, like new bands that I like a new Deftones record or whatever. I'll hear that, and it's, you know, and then it's just like, so just playing guitar till you kind of fumble across something cool, and always record everything you do. You know what I mean, and kind of build on it from there. So I don't even know. It's just, I think it's all the, you know, all these things that, you know, kind of come together and somehow hopefully comes out in some other form, you know. Well, believe me, I've written many songs before that I'm like, my God, that riff is so cool. And I'm like, wait a second, that's a 3 Days Grace song. Hang on a second, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's like really close to like something else, and you kind of, it's too close, so you can't, you know, you can't use it. So I think you just have to be careful of that, and, you know, the way it comes out. And I think that's how, from learning those other things, listening to other things, and kind of taking all of that in, and then hopefully having it come out as your own thing.
That's it. The experiences that you live and they go through, that's what you spit back out and regurgitate with your own brain, your filters, and then it comes out and that becomes yours, you know. There's nothing really original, has been for a long, long time. There's only a few people that really can make anything unique anymore. So it depends on what you expose yourself to. We've been fortunate enough to be able to become deep cuts listeners. We go deep into records and we analyze music and we spit it back out our own way, and sometimes it gets a little blatant. We go, oh fuck, whose song is that? And that does happen. But for the most part, it's experiences with other players. You know, we get to have experiences and jam with other people, and Mike goes and does his thing with some certain band or somebody asking him to write a song, and he gets that experience, and he comes back, and without him even knowing it, he brings something to our band, The Color, you know, later, and it shows up, that type of thing. And the more you take into your filters, the more you have a chance of spitting out some good shit. So that's really what it comes down to. We've reached a thing where we have a standard of listening, a standard of playing, a standard where we accept ourselves that we have to match, but also a standard of listening. You know, like it's going to be, it doesn't matter what band it is or what style it is. If it's fucking good, it's good, and it moves you, and we're like, oh yes, that's right. And if it's crap, it's crap. And that's that. You know, you shouldn't have to ever try to like anything. You either do or you don't. You know, and that's how it is. And so our experiences, the people we've got to jam with, he's got to play with some bad motherfuckers. I got to play with some bad motherfuckers. And through that time, and keeping our old teachers close, for me, Motorhead and Rush and Sabbath and Nugent and all those kind of things, always keep them very close, but always have one black boot out in the new world to listen to the new Queens, listen to the new Deftones, and the new Black Sabbath, and the new Red Fang, and the new Graveyard, and all those bands that we're digging that are flying the flag true now. You know, you take all the experiences in, spin them back out, that becomes the shit. For myself, this is the first time I've ever sat down and wrote songs top to bottom in my life. I just started tapping my well, and I pulled out 20 in 20 days. So, you know, it's just a matter of time before it comes out. And he's already wrote, what are you up to, the third album now? So he's got like the second half of the third album he was working on yesterday. So we've got, you know, shit, there's a bright future.
For God's sake!
Pay attention. I mean, I just, you know, try to pay attention to magazines and music stuff, and British press helps me a lot with new things. And then a couple of friends that are DJs that always turn me on to the cool shit. They kind of filter through everything for me, and then they send it. And my boy that I was with last night, Mike Dinvalt from Ohio, you know, I learned about Black Mountain from him, about Caius back in the day from him, all those things, you know what I'm saying?
Somebody's out. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it must be really important.
Keep knocking.
Yeah, we're in the middle of an interview.
Yes.
For God's sake!
I'd be guitar tech, Mike's guitar tech.
I couldn't be a musician.
Huh?
I couldn't be a musician.
Oh,
though.
fuck. No, he said if I wasn't.
Oh, okay, if you were, yeah, you'd be my guitar. Yeah, perfect. I actually have a degree in electrical engineering, so I had a job when Stain started as an engineer. And I actually planned on going to law school to become a patent attorney. because I found you could make a lot of money if you did that with an engineering degree. And
Good thinking.
I was going to pursue that. But literally the year I graduated college, I started Stained. So the engineering degree has been used in a lot of years.
He still uses it every once in a while. He does.
I do?
Yeah.
No, believe me.
Remember when you changed that one string that one time?
Yeah, I know. I had to change.
Couldn't tune it, but it was fucking
I
awesome.
had to change strings there. I'm like, I was like, we had to show up to practice. I'm like, God, I gotta change strings. I haven't done this in years. How do you do this?
It was awesome. Get that engineering degree out, bitch.